So happy to be talking to the one and only Amy Porterfield. Once again, Amy, thank you for being here with me and with us.
Matthew, thank you so much for having me.
There's nowhere I would rather be than picking your very expensive brain on everything that you possibly need to know about digital courses. Just for the benefit of everyone watching, Amy, how much money have digital courses brought into your world in your lifetime?
So I have been in business for 15 years and it started out very slow, but over the years, we have generated over $100 million primarily in digital course sales. So it's been a wild ride to say the least.
And for anybody listening to this that says that's just unachievable, forget about it. I can tell you, having not made yet $100 million in online courses, but certainly made many hundreds of thousands. And I asked Amy here today to give us the A to Z, or that's Z if you're one of my transatlantic friends, or the A to Z of digital courses. 26 key points that you've got to know to give you some context around digital courses and make you realize just how easy it is for you to get started. So you ready to go, Amy? I'm putting you on the spot a little bit here, but I gave you a tiny bit of prep. We're going through the A to Z of digital courses. We're going to start with the A, Amy. A is for?
Affiliates. So I love this one. Essentially, if you want to sell more courses, the goal is to get other people who have already taken your course and will sing your praises to become affiliates for you, or other people who have had great success in that area that you are teaching. They can become affiliates as well. And so you could do like a 40-60 split, a 50-50 split. So they get a great commission every time they sell one of your courses.
Great. So if you're worried that you don't know enough people, you don't have enough prospects for your course, don't forget you've got customers and you've got friends who will happily become your sales army. What's B stand for?
B is for bonuses. So one of the best things you could do is when you put together your digital course offer a core bonus, a bonus that everybody gets if they were to enroll in your course. Or the best way to use bonuses is a fast action bonus. You're doing a webinar. If you buy while we're on this webinar, you get this extra bonus. Or cards closing today, everyone who purchases will get this extra bonus as long as you get in by the deadline. So bonuses help create more urgency and get people into the door. And they sometimes kind of push them over the edge. If they're kind of wondering, is this right for me? And they see a great bonus, boom, they're in.
Absolutely. I'm going to open that bank account because it comes with a fruit basket.
Yes.
What does C stand for?
Community. Okay, so here's, you could see this both ways. Number one, if you start to build a community, if you engage with the people that are on your social media, inside your email list, these are the people that are more likely to buy. So when you put great content out there and you engage with them, you're building a community of potential buyers. But also with a course, if you add a community, one, it increases the offer and the perceived value of your program. And also it allows people to keep each other accountable, making sure that they get to the finish line and get results. So creating a community for yourself and within your course, you can't go wrong.
And we've seen very often people come for the content and they stay for the community.
Yes.
Beautiful. D.
Ooh, D is for diversity. So you want to offer diverse content to cater to different learning styles. So this means that you can create, let's say, videos. And then with that, you could strip it just for the audio. I have actually a student-only podcast, which is just the audio from my course so that I can be in their earbuds wherever they go. So I love like a private podcast for just your students. So you've got video, you've got audio. I always do PDF resources. So let's say I want to make a video on how to do something pretty elaborate and there's a lot of steps. My video might be 10 minutes with the overview, my PDF resource step by step by step. So I don't have to teach it all inside of a video. So offering different ways for people to learn and get into your content allows them to get results faster.
And consume it quicker, and when they're driving, and when they're sitting on the john, and everywhere in between. Exactly. Wonderful. Where do we get to? E, Amy. Digital courses, E is for?
Engagement. So you want to keep your students motivated and on track. And so in order to do that, here's my favorite way to get engagement. Number one is if you have a community, let's say a Facebook group or circle, or membership.io now has a huge community component. So there's a lot of options here. So get them into a community while they're going through your course. And then I want you to engage with them, ask them questions, do surveys, do live Q&As and get them into those Q&As and asking questions of you. the more engaged they are, the more likely they are to carry through in the course and get the results that you promised. That's one of the challenges with digital courses, making sure you keep your students engaged. You could do Voxer, Slack channels, Zoom Q&As, again, surveys, communities. These are all ways to get people engaged so that they get the results you're promising.
And I love how you make it super simple by saying, look, here's something you can do on a Monday. Here's something you can do on a Tuesday,
Yes.
a list of potential things, whatever suits you. People are afraid of engagement. They think it's a great burden. But when you combine it with community, it becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy, which is a beautiful thing.
Absolutely.
Now we're really going to be testing my elementary school skills here. We've got what comes after E, F, digital courses, F.
F is for funnels. So when I say that, some people are like, whoa, I don't really know how to create a lot of funnels. This feels a little bit overwhelming. Here's the deal. You could keep it really simple. So let's say you do a webinar to sell your digital course. You can, if you want, run a Facebook ad or just tell your social media and email list about your webinar. They get into the webinar. From the webinar, they watch the webinar. Let's say they don't buy. Now you're following up with emails to encourage them to buy. The emails talk about your bonuses. They talk about testimonials. They talk about what's in the course. And then from there, you're going to send them to a sales page. So webinar, emails, sales page, that's just all part of the funnel. And I'm always saying, keep it easy, get fancy later. A stripped down, really easy funnel will absolutely make you money when done right. So keep it simple. But yeah, you got to think about how can I automate my marketing, putting it into a funnel so that it can work even when I'm not.
Absolutely. And the chance of somebody spending $1,000 to $10,000 on your course is highly, highly improved if they've spent time and energy reading your emails, watching your webinars, getting to know you. G.
G is for goals. So you want clear objections going into, let's say, a digital course launch. And let's do some course math really fast. A lot of people think, I don't have a big email list, Amy. I've never created a course or launched it. What if this isn't for me? Well, think about it this way. There are over 7 billion people in this world, and you need a tiny sliver of the internet to pay attention. So your goal can be small and still make great money. Let's say you have a course for $500 and you only sell 20 right out of the gate. That's $10,000. But here's the deal. You want your goals to be over the year. I teach people to create one course and launch it over and over and over again, whether live or evergreen. So that first $10,000, well, now that your course is going to get better and your marketing gets better with every launch, your list grows with every launch, your social media grows with every launch, it's getting bigger. So your success, your results get bigger. So when you add up those goals throughout the year, you could have a 6-figure or 7-figure digital course launch, one course, multiple launches. So set those goals throughout the year. Don't just think about that one launch.
Absolutely. And it doesn't even have to be launch based. Very often it can trickle away behind the scenes.
Yes.
And also people forget if 20 people have jumped on board, that means there's 20,000 people who will be interested when they hear about it. You've got enough proof of concept with your first 20 customers to carry on for the rest of your life. My courses have been running for years, and they still sell as well today as they did back in the day. Amy, we got to the letter G.
H.
Thank you. I was paying attention. I told you I was just bad at literature.
That would be hard, though, to remember what letter we're on. Good thing that I've got it. So H is for homework. So remember I mentioned there's different ways to learn. A PDF resource is a great one. Well, putting some exercises or some assignments inside of your digital course is always a great way to make sure that people are coming back to the content and taking action. If they take little action and get quick little wins, they're more likely to keep following through. One example to give homework, Michael Hyatt does this at the end of his digital courses. You'll go through a whole module and then he'll do a little quiz at the end just to make sure you are paying attention and give you a score. Kind of feels like an assignment, but it locks in the content you just learned. So getting people to do assignments or just little exercises throughout, it allows them to see, oh, I am doing this. I am getting results. I am understanding it, and keeps them moving forward.
One time in your life you'll love homework is when you do it as part of a course that you've paid for yourself.
Yes.
H. We've just done I.
I'm going to say the letters.
No, I'm getting confused now. All right. I'm going to write this down. Okay.
I is for instructor, which is you who is creating the digital course. So what's important about being an instructor? Number one, you want to have presence. You want to show up for them. To get people to get into your course, first of all, buy it, and then actually go through it and get the results you're promising, you have to show up with a lot of trust and credibility. Now, the secret is you don't have to be the expert of all experts. You don't have to have years of education or certification to be a great instructor. All you need is a 10% edge. You need to have gotten results for yourself or for somebody else, a client, a customer, a family member, and be willing to teach how you got those results. So you just need the 10% edge. But then once you take that 10% edge, that knowledge, and put it into a course, you want to be present. You want to be accessible. That's where a Slack channel or Zoom Q&A calls or Voxer comes in so that they know that not only are you going to teach them, but you're going to guide them throughout. It doesn't have to be forever. In my course, I do 11 weeks into a community where I'm doing live Q&A every week. That's how I am present for my students, but there's a lot of ways to do it.
And I love that reframe, because I was thinking I might be imposter syndrome. Anyone who says, who am I to deliver a course? And if you switch to a place of service and you say, actually, my role here is to instruct, then imposter syndrome goes out the window.
Yes.
And after I comes J.
J. So this is journey. So you do want to craft a compelling learning journey. And the way you structure your course, the way you teach it is important. I learned this from Tony Robbins. It's so silly, but it makes sense. So the same words, different meanings. So the dog bit Johnny. That's the words. The dog bit Johnny, or Johnny bit the dog. Same words, different order, very different outcome, right? So the way you put your content together is very important to get the outcome you're looking for. So the way I teach my students how to do it is, let's look for a roadmap. Let's look for a path. Let's look for pillars or phases so you can teach in that order so people know where they're going. Because think about it this way. If you teach something, like one of my students teaches how to make sourdough bread. She has made a lot of money with a course on how to make sourdough bread. Her name's Sarah. We call her Sarah Sourdough. If you were to Google or go on YouTube how to make sourdough bread, especially after COVID, hundreds of thousands of hits. Why are they paying Sarah to learn? Because she teaches them in a very succinct, very specific way, and so that they don't have to hunt and peck all over the web. Plus, going back to instructor presence, they want to learn from her. She's created a relationship with them. She has created that trust. So creating a journey and connecting with your audience means they will buy from you, even if they can find all the content free online by hunting and pecking. Create that journey. That is what people are paying for.
And once they're on board, it sets their mind at rest that they're in the right place because they've been given the itinerary. It's been carefully mapped out. You're not following somebody aimlessly. You're following somebody very aimfully. And I don't think that's a word, but I
like it, though. I like it.
K.
K is for knowledge. So again, going back to that 10% edge, you don't need to be the expert of all experts. You need to have gotten results for yourself or for somebody else and willing to share that knowledge in your course. K is also for knowledge because you do not need to share everything you know on a topic. One of my students is a photographer. He teaches everything about photography, but in his digital course, he only teaches how to use flash photography that looks like natural light. That's all he did. This was his first course. He had 100 people on his email list, made $12,000 right out of the gate with teaching one very specific thing he knows. So your knowledge doesn't have to be everywhere and poured into everything. Let's keep it exactly what people need to get the results you're promising.
And if you've got absolutely no knowledge, K could be for curation, where you can bring together other experts and say, look, here how smart my friends are.
I think that's great. I think that's a C, but we're going to go with it.
You're bursting my bubble all over the place.
He's cheap little, my friends. L is for launch, and specifically launch strategy. So one of the things that I teach and why I can get my students results is that we're not going to create a course and then throw it out on social media and hope that somebody buys. It doesn't really work that way. Sure, that can be your first step, but we're talking about making impact and good money. So you want a really good launch strategy. So in my program, I teach people how to put together a launch strategy that includes email marketing, social media. When you're ready, webinars. Webinars are alive and well. They work very well. I teach people step by step how to do them. But adding a webinar will increase your revenue. There's no doubt about it. So really just understanding when to send the emails, what to put in the emails, what does the webinar look like, how to write a good sales page. These are all things part of a launch strategy. But anyone listening might be like, whoa, that's a lot. I don't know how to do that. You're not supposed to know how to do that if you've never done it before. So find a guide, whether it's me or somebody else. Let someone walk you through it and teach you how to do it. Once you've done it once, you're off to the races. But I really do believe in finding someone to help you your first time out so that you don't waste your time or energy.
I'm sure you are aware, you would have seen my name pop up previously in your student lists. One of the things that I really appreciate about the way that you put these things together, Amy, is that you meet people where we are. I like to think I'm relatively advanced when it comes to technical knowledge, marketing knowledge. I also realize that I am nowhere near you when it comes to putting courses together, when it comes to, generating traffic, growing lists, things like that. I came in with a large amount of knowledge, and I recognized that as I was working through your material, even if I had none about the industry, if it was my very first rodeo, you had everything covered. But I didn't feel for a minute that it was that you were speaking down to me, or that you were, dumbing down the ideas. It was just exceptionally clear, because essentially what we do when we put a course together is we build something, and these are steps which you don't need a PhD to learn. These are steps which, if you can type an email, if you can write in a Word document, you can put your stuff together, and you make it super clear. I would heartily recommend that my mother chooses you as a guide. And Mum, if you're listening to this, yes, I'm saying you're absolutely technically incompetent.
I cannot wait to take care of your mom inside the course. That's so fun. Let's do it. Okay. So M is for modules. Oh, I love this one. Okay. So when you teach a digital course, you're going to first think of your modules when we're thinking content. Modules are across the top. They're the big ideas. And then underneath modules are the lessons. So one of my students, she teaches people how to land their dream job. So one of the modules might be resume. And then she makes short videos about how to put together the perfect resume. Now, the secret here is these lessons, shorter the better. I say anywhere between 7 to 12 minutes is like the sweet spot. Back in the day, we used to make videos. I don't know if you remember this, Matthew, but like hour-long videos that we would teach people how to do something. And I would literally buy courses where I would watch hour-long videos, many of them. No one's doing that today. And so if you have an hour-long concept, two things. One, you're cutting that hour-long concept into short videos, and also you're stripping some of that content down and putting it into a PDF so that they can follow along, which means less work for you in the video. So modules at the top, lessons under each module, short lessons. That's how you create a course that people get through.
Beautiful. Ties in with your journey. A journey made up of a series of small modules is so much more palatable and easier to consume and easier to get results from than a 4-hour lecture.
Yes. Okay, so N.
Thank you. N. Okay, right.
N is for niche. And so this is important. You've got to get a very specific audience when you are thinking about you want to think about a very specific audience when you're thinking about your course topic. Let me give you an example. We're not creating a course about manifestation for everybody. Anyone who wants to manifest, this course is for you. It happens. I've seen courses out there like that. What they don't do is cut through the noise online. Yes, courses, a lot of people are creating courses. Why? Because they work. Is it a saturated market? No, it's never a saturated market if you're willing to do your thing online and look for that little slice of the internet that needs to pay attention for you to get great success. The way you find that little slice of the internet to pay attention is to get very specific on your niche. You're not for everybody. You might be a manifestation for busy moms who have 10 minutes a day, or manifestation for finding your dream job using that other topic. Get very specific and you will cut through the noise.
The more specific you are, the more relevant you are, which is brilliant. Which brings us to the number O.
O is for outcomes. So you have to focus on the results, the outcome that you're promising, and get really clear on that. So if you say how to land your dream job, you need to make sure that you are literally teaching the steps to get there, and you're never going to teach it before you know you've gotten results for yourself or for somebody else. In my very first course, I made $267 and then cried for a week because I thought I was a big failure, and it was a really bad week for me, and I thought I'd have to go back to my 9-to-5 job. The reason it didn't work is that I was teaching something I was not had no experience in. It was how to launch a book using social media. I was an expert in social media, never launched a book in my life. And so before you promise results, make sure that you know how to get people those results. But one more thing I want to say about this. Some people say, Amy, I'm afraid to create a course because I can't guarantee these results. I can't do the work for them. Of course you can't. So you have to remember, your job is to lay out the path, tell people exactly how to get there, and build in some features like accountability and community and engagement to help them get through the course. You take them as far as you can. Takes 2 people here to get results with the digital course, the instructor and the student willing to do the work. So if they're not willing to do the work and put in the time, you cannot get them results. But you can promise that this is the path you took to get results and this works. That's what matters.
Wonderful. And a very specific outcome makes it easier to deliver those results. If you're, one thing to successfully bake a sourdough bread repeatedly, it's another thing to become the most famous Michelin-starred baker in the whole of the world, right?
Yes. Yeah, very different.
P.
P is for pricing. So a lot of people think the way you price a course is that you look at the number of modules and lessons, and then the more modules and lessons, the higher the price. Or how long does it take someone to get through a course? If they can get through it in a weekend, you don't charge a lot. If it takes them 6 weeks, you charge a lot. That is not how you price a course. The price of the course is determined by the results you're promising. The bigger, more robust, bigger transformation results, the higher the price. And so if you're creating a starter course, how to get started with sourdough bread, you're probably going to be between $100 and $200. But if you're going to say how to create a sourdough baking business from start to finish and open up a brick and mortar, you're charging a few $1,000s. Those are bigger results. So that's how you price a course. I have a boot camp coming up, and I walk through exactly how to price your course depending on who your topic or what your topic is in your audience. So we get into a lot of examples there because it's something really important to get down right from the get-go.
And pricing serves as an anchor for value. Pricing serves as a marketing tool. I think I'll do your boot camp, Amy. That sounds like a good idea. Q, come on. You got what? Q.
Quality. This is important. I really care deeply about the content I create. It doesn't need to be perfect. You don't need the highest production value of videos. You don't need to bring in a whole crew. You don't need to go to college to learn one specific thing to teach quality content. You just need to be willing to say, this is what you need to know. And you care about that. So putting together quality content means that, again, you might do video, audio, PDFs, whatever works for you. But I think it's really important to spend some time on that content. But here's the secret. My students create an outline, a full outline of their course, but they do not actually create the course until they sell it. Selling is the best validator, and I don't want anyone wasting time, money, or energy on a course that won't sell. So we fully flesh it out, and we care about the quality of the content, but we have a great outline. We know what we're selling and the results we're promising. We market it, and then we create it week by week, and we deliver it week by week. That way, you're creating quality content that you know people will pay for.
And this is inside your flagship digital course academy, is that right?
Yeah, this is what I teach them.
I love it. And this is, if you're watching this, I would like you to go ahead and...
Hello.
Thank you, bud.
I love it. This is what I love. I love about building our own businesses, that the kids can come in, say hello, and then leave, and we're good to go.
And before we were interrupted by my tween, I was saying, if you're watching this, do check out what Amy's doing in the coming days and weeks. There are a number of things you can, I'll link to some of them somewhere around this video, but you do yourself a favor and go and check out, if you're even a tiny bit curious about what courses can do for you, now is the time to learn from Amy. Where do we get to?
R is for reviews. Ooh, I love this one. This is so fun. I love that I get to go through the most important areas of digital course. I've never done it like this before, so I think you're brilliant, my friend. So R, reviews, testimonials, they're important. Now, for your first course, you're going to say, but Amy, I've never taught this before to anybody other than myself. I don't have reviews. Well, you're going to be your best testimonial. But after that, when people go through your course, you're going to make an effort to get out in front of them and say, where were you before? What was it like going through the program? Where are you now? You're gathering those and you're telling those stories the next time you launch. That's why it's so important. One course, several times promoting it, because each time you're gathering more stories to tell about the people who have gotten success from your offer.
And if you tie that in with the niche strategy that you mentioned earlier, you're going to find a lot of vibrations. Your vibrations within that community get echoed and made bigger, because a lot of the people who are following the people are the same people who'll be taking the course later on. So when you see a review from a friend, you're like, I'm sold.
I'm
That's
sold.
it. I'm in. If
Yeah,
Matthew trusts Amy, then I trust Amy. That's what's
so
going to
true.
happen. Uh,
Okay.
S.
S is for support. Now, we mentioned this a little bit. I've mentioned it several times. Voxer, Zoom, Q&A calls, Slack channels, whatever you want to do here, office hours. But I do think it's important to offer support. I have an evergreen program about list building, and so I'm not live teaching it at any point, and I'm not live selling it either. It's all automated. However, I do offer that anyone who comes into my $500 program, they get 12 months of live Q&As with me, and people cycle in and out depending on when they bought the program. But only once a month, I show up on Zoom for an hour and I answer all their questions about list building. And so this allows for a support vehicle, but it's so easy for me to do once a month and they get the support they need. So there's so many different ways you can do it. You could do it with a really robust FAQ using even an AI tool to add in all your questions and what your answers. So there's ways to do it. But the more support you offer, the more people will refer your program and get results.
Brilliant. T.
T is for technology. So here's the deal. Back in the day when I started, like I had to walk to school both ways uphill in the snow kind of deal, software and technology was rough. To create a course, you probably need 7 to 10 different pieces of technology or software to piece it all together. Today, that is not the case. Technology has never been easier or cheaper for digital courses, and there's a lot of all-in-one tools you can use so you don't have to piece them together. And so a lot of people I think we're talking to in your audience right now, they're probably pretty comfortable with technology, but some people are listening like, I didn't grow up with it. It never has come easy. I'm not a big techie girl, and now I can absolutely figure it out on my own. So don't let it stop you in your tracks. It's easier than you think. And also, you need less technology than you think to have a successful digital course.
And you can tell me exactly what tech I might need, right?
Yes, I tell all my students when they get into my program, I tell them exactly what they need, especially those on a budget, and how to use it so they can get started. So technology is something I take really serious because a lot of my students aren't fully comfortable with it, so I walk them through it.
Brilliant. You.
U is for updates. I love this one. So remember what I taught you. You're creating one course and you're launching it over and over again. So I've created and launched the same course since 2019. Every year it's gotten bigger and more successful. Why? Well, because when someone goes through your course, they give you feedback, what worked, what didn't, where they got stuck. You make little updates. And then every time you launch, you get better. You get better at writing your copy. You get better at talking about it. You get better at selling in general. And so with that, your launches get bigger. So updating your course and updating your marketing is far superior than always starting from scratch. The reason why a lot of people struggle with building their own business is they're always starting new offers. They're already always starting from scratch, which slows you down and costs a lot of time and energy and money. So update versus start over.
Brilliant. If you've got something that works, keep working it, keep it fresh, keep it clean, and keep updating.
Keep it clean. V is for value proposition. So when you create a course, you want to clearly communicate the benefits and the features of this course, but benefits more than features. Features are like there's 7 modules, I have PDFs, I have audio that you could put in your earbuds. Those are features. But benefits are what will life look like once you finish and get results from this course? What will you feel like? What will life be like? So if you can paint the picture, we call it future pacing. You can future pace the value that people will get from this course, they are sold. So you want to get clear on what you're offering and the benefits of it and future pace them so that they can see what's possible.
The final countdown, we got to W.
W, my favorite, webinars. So in my program, I teach people how to do webinars that convert. And I teach them slide by slide by slide, because this is something that is game changing when done right. Because I've been in the industry so long, I get the question, Amy, aren't webinars dead? I did my first webinar when I worked for Tony Robbins over 16, 17 years ago. And for the record, we were practicing the night before. Tony was in San Diego. Tony was in Palm Springs. I was in San Diego at the home office. We were practicing the night before. I clicked a button and deleted the entire webinar, and all the people who signed up for the webinar got an email that night that said, it's been canceled. So that was my first experience with webinars. So it didn't go so well. I could have said, I'm not meant for webinars. I don't understand technology. I'm bad at this. But instead I said, we got to give this another try. And so 15, 16 years later, webinars literally are the #1 way I sell my course. And the reason why they work is because for a good 40 minutes, you are giving absolute value. When I get on a webinar, I tell myself, no matter if they buy or not, they walk away feeling inspired and excited to take action and driven to take action. So no matter if they buy or not. And because of that, I show up in servitude. But at the end of the webinar, I always sell my course. And that is how I'm able to get more people into my program. Webinars work when done right.
And you know how to do them right.
Over time. It's taken me a while, but I'm there. So,
And,
okay.
so I'm going to, webinars in and of themselves are such an important skill. But if I'm going to get that knowledge from you along with everything else, Amy, I'm sold. X.
X is for the X factor. So here's the thing.
Well done. I wondered what you were going to do with that. Okay,
yeah,
super.
A good one. You're going to want to create a course, and then you're going to look around and think, this course has already been created. Everyone's already doing what I want to do. Not to mention there's a big guru who's doing it better than anyone else. How am I going to create a course in this topic? You can plug in any topic and anybody will be able to say that. It doesn't matter. Going back, you only need a tiny sliver of the internet to pay attention to make a great living with courses. But in addition, you've heard it, but I'm going to repeat it again. No one is teaching like you. No one has the experience or the stories or examples like you do. You've lived this in a different way than everybody else. So as long as you're willing to show up and put your own magic into it, have your own personality, your own way of teaching, you will find your audience. They will want to learn from you versus somebody else. I might be the leader in teaching how to create and launch courses, but there's other people who do it out there that do really well. Why? Because they've got a different style that people will gravitate toward. So believe me, you just need that X factor. And it's just what makes you unique. Here's the secret. You already have it. Just be willing to put it out there.
I love that. Thank you. Especially for the person who's perhaps a little bit hesitant. And I 100% underscore and echo everything Amy just said. People want you. And you've got to test that hypothesis because it will be proven true every time. Why?
So Y is for yield, which essentially what I'm talking about here is you want to measure the return on investment. Tracking metrics can help you understand the success of your course and identify areas for improvement. So when people go through my program, I help them put a one sheet together of all the different metrics we're going to track. It's nothing crazy. It's nothing overwhelming, but we want to track how many people are coming into the webinar. What are they converting at? So next time we can think about converting a little bit better. How many people on your email list? You don't need a ton, but we're going to track how that gets bigger and bigger every time you launch. And so we're going to look at some numbers, conversions, and some growth over time so that here's the secret. You are your own benchmark. It doesn't matter what I'm doing. It doesn't matter what Matthew's doing. It matters what you are doing. And then you're going to improve from there. Be your own benchmark. Track your own numbers.
There's a lot in courses, right? There's a lot to consider. The fact that you've got a roadmap and a journey for me as I go on learning about how to make digital courses, for you, if you're watching this and you've decided that Amy's going to be your teacher, is frankly a relief. We've done 26 bullet points, if you like, and I know that you could speak about this for, well, many more years to come without ever running out of stuff to say. So to have a clear journey, a clear roadmap, a clear course for my journey in courses is a huge relief. Let's end up with the final one, Z.
Z is always a little challenging, but Z for us today is zeal, which kind of leads into passion and enthusiasm. Here's a secret. You do not need to create a course on your ultimate passion and purpose in life. That is not needed. However, you do need to choose a topic you're excited to talk about because your enthusiasm will attract your audience and they'll get excited with you. So choose a topic that you're willing to talk about morning, noon, and night because you will. I mean, I've talked about digital courses for 15 years. It's not necessarily the passion of my life. However, my passion is helping people realize what freedom looks like for them and to go after it. And I know that courses are a vehicle to do so. So that's what gets me up in the morning. So find your zeal. What gets you excited and create a course around that to get other people excited to get the success and the results they deserve.
Well, I think it's no secret that I am a course zealot, and more importantly, I'm an Amy Porterfield zealot. I would like to point people primarily right now towards your guide, your super simple guide to turning your knowledge into a course. If you've watched this and it's piqued your curiosity, which I think it should have done, there's no reason you shouldn't put a course out there, because what is for certain is that you know something. Amy's guide, which I've linked somewhere here, is your absolute best friend in how to turn your knowledge into a course. Amy Porterfield, you're super busy. Thank you so much for your time.
Well, thank you, my friend. It's always a pleasure to be here. Thanks again.